Sweet. Hey, welcome to Mosh. I'm Dave, and I'm joined with
Justin.
And we have our guest today.
I'm Jose DelRio. What's up?
What's going on? So, what do you do?
That's a loaded question. I play guitar in the band The Word Alive. I sing in a band called Vagrants. I produce and write for other bands. I work for a promotion company called Reaction Presents when I'm off tour, running shows and stuff at Vinyl Music Hall. And, yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. So, you just got off tour recently with The Word Alive?
Mm-hmm. Flew back Monday.
Nice. So, where'd you start and where'd you end?
We started on the West Coast. We did some dates, like warm-up dates with Under Oath and The Ghost Inside on like the last bit of their tour. Yeah, it was like dream come true. Under Oath is like one of those bands for
Same, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. TGI too, like they were like one of the first hardcore adjacent bands I ever saw live, so it was just like a full circle thing for me. But,
that's crazy.
We did like 4 shows with them, and then we did a headliner across pretty much most of the U.S. for our new record that just came out called Hard Reset. It was like leg 1 of we're eventually going to do a second leg of it too.
Awesome.
Probably beginning of next year, but it ended back on the West Coast.
Oh, nice.
So then I flew home.
Oh, nice. Now, what was that must have been like so much fun though, right? Like,
yeah, that was my first time ever doing like a headlining tour, like being like as the headliner on a package, and it's like a different dynamic. There's like you have shit to do all day, you know.
Were you guys doing like meet and greets as well too?
Yeah, we had like VIP. Of course, you have to do sound check. We are playing like 15, 16 songs. So like, it's like, what song did we fuck up last night? Let's run that at sound check today. Make sure we're good, and like just everything that goes into it is like the minutia regarding patch changes and guitar changes, and like because we're doing a set list that's over all 7 records. There's like songs for all of our guitar player friends out there. Drop C all the way down to drop G sharp.
Oh, wow.
So, like just the logistics figuring that out. And
how many guitars on tour did you bring?
I think we had 4 each.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, a main and a backup.
Right on.
For like, we had drop C guitars, then we use our amps to transpose down.
Oh, right on.
A couple steps, and then we have then we're doing drop A guitars to do that.
Oh, wow.
So.
Now, is this the most time that you've been on the road? Was with them or?
This was like actually 4 or 5 weeks. I think the longest tour I've ever done, or stint of consecutive shows, is like 6-7 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, it was long. There weren't a lot of days off, but it was really rewarding.
Yeah.
Having it beat our tour, and like the fans that are coming out to see us, and of course our support bands as well that were awesome. But
what size venues were you playing?
It would depend on the market. Mostly like around the 5 to like 750. There were some smaller, in like because this tour we like strategically wanted to do like B and C markets. You call it, smaller cities like say Pensacola or something.
Yeah.
Like that would be probably like a C market.
Yeah.
So those cities obviously we play a smaller venue because there's less people.
That's cool. Yeah. Nice and compact, and everybody feels like they're.
Oh yeah.
With you.
Yeah,
playing,
exactly.
Which is
I
really
like that vibe.
Intimate.
Personally.
Intimate was the word I was looking for.
Intimate. Yeah. I'd rather play a smaller room that is like packed full of people than say a venue like Palladium or something that's like a quarter full.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like because then I'm just like stood watching the empty seats up top.
Yeah.
Your mind tends to wander versus like when you have people, like right in your face, whatever. I don't know. I just come from.
Did you play any venues around Massachusetts at all?
Not on that tour.
Not on that tour. Oh, okay.
The previous we did a tour in the spring with Pop Evil. We did play Palladium.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Were you upstairs, downstairs, or?
It was the big room.
Oh, okay, so downstairs. Yeah. Fuck yeah, that's so sick, dude.
It was my first time playing there. Actually, it was.
That's awesome.
Very, very
that's like my, like. That I've talked about it on the podcast before, but that's like my mecca for like when I was learning about bands like Slipknot and Korn and stuff, then finding out that they're coming to the Palladium.
Right.
That was like where I went. I lived there when I was a kid.
Sure.
So to then play it later and know of, friends that have played there and stuff, I'm just like so freaking cool.
All the staff there was great. My only complaint is that many flights of stairs you must.
Oh, for the green
climb.
room.
The green room.
Yeah, yeah. They put did they? Were you at the top? Like usually,
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, we were the direct support band, so they put us all the way up top, and then the headliner, of course, was like
On the
closest
first
to the
floor.
stage,
Yeah.
Oh,
Nah, I love the setup there though.
Yeah, it was
It's
cool.
so historic. Like you just think of like all the bands that have come through
I've
there
always
before
heard
you.
about it, you
and-
know, because being from Pensacola or growing up here, it's like we don't have anything like that here, you know, really. That like constantly had like New England hardcore fest, like or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. We just had a much smaller scene, so I
yeah,
always dreamt of like playing there, playing like Chain Reaction and things like that too. So it's cool to finally get to check some of those off the bucket
that's
list.
so cool, dude.
Yeah,
And you said you're how old?
I'm 28.
And you're already doing that stuff. That's so cool.
I'm
So cool.
definitely thankful for
Yeah.
the opportunity that I, you know, or situation that I've landed myself in.
Yeah,
A
right.
band that's already established and stuff.
Yeah, because I think when I first moved here, I went and saw August Burns Red at Vinyl, and I think
Oh, yeah,
that was the show you guys were opening.
Yeah, Vagrants played that.
Yeah, and that was like my first introduction to the scene here, and then seeing you guys, and I was like, oh, these guys are sick. And then I was actually kind of surprised. I was like, oh, they're not on, like, I thought you guys were like part of the package. Like, you were just here in Pensacola, so you're like, oh, yeah, we'll open the show.
Yeah. At the time, we had the same booking agent as August Burns Red.
Oh, nice.
And we'd played multiple shows with them, you know, whenever they come through and stuff. So they've like,
Dude.
hey, we
yeah.
need a support band. I think Fit for a King or somebody was supposed to play the show, but they like couldn't that day. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like that was what 2018 or something.
Yeah, it was like right when I first moved here. So, yeah,
I know
that was such a sick show, dude. I love August Burns Red. Like,
Yeah.
to see, it's crazy because I'm used to when they come to Boston, they play downstairs at the Palladium, so it's like a big,
Yeah.
event, and then seeing them at Vinyl, I was like on the stage, because you stand
yeah.
right there,
Gap, but you're like-
dude. Oh my god, I still have butterflies because I am like obsessed with that band, or was when I was a kid. So to see them in a small venue like that was just so freaking. I felt like I was backstage, like.
Yeah.
It's just so cool to see
those
them
guys
there.
are the
So.
best. We played the Word Alive played Heart Support Fest, which is Jake's festival.
Oh, nice, yeah.
In February, the first year, and that was such a great day.
That's awesome.
Lineup was smashing, but yeah, they headlined it, of course, and
Of course,
to watch them with their crazy production and light show
yeah.
and stuff like you do is so cool.
dude. Yeah, they do it right. They always do it right.
Yeah.
They put on a great show at Club LA when I was there too.
Yeah.
It was-
Oh, do they play there? You know, I've never been to that venue.
You've never been to Club LA? It's super dope.
It's
real?
in Destin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah.
I
It's-
don't know if I'm spoiled from. I say
Well,
spoiled
you-
living Pensacola. Pensacola's small.
Well,
still.
you've got something right down the road that has the same artists that come, the same general artists that
Yeah.
come to Club LA, which is, yeah. But it's wide open. Like you go in and it's just wide
it's
open.
similar size to vinyl, right?
It is 900 cap.
Okay.
And then I don't, what is vinyl?
850,
yeah.
870, something like
Yeah.
that.
It's just more wide open. You know what I mean? Like the view from everywhere in there is good. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have like an upstairs or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just,
Cool.
I mean, it's kind of got like a raised level to like go to the bar and
like a
stuff like
proper
that.
club.
But
Oh, it is.
yeah, yeah.
It's one of the most professional places I've played at. Like everything is very, like laid out in front of you. You know the schedule. They're ready.
Legit.
Yeah, it's
I
like
would
it's
love
like
to play
going to
there.
vinyl too. Like everybody is like, hey, we got a job to do. Be here at this time. I'm like, I crave that shit. I don't like the whole like, yeah, man, just chill out wherever and maybe, man,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
whatever.
The sound guy usually shows up before doors.
Yeah.
That on tour before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's usually here like right before doors, and it's like cool. Like we advance the sound check, like
Yeah.
all that stuff is.
Yeah.
I don't play with that either.
Yeah, dude.
yeah. Have you ever tour managed? Or
I have my own bands, and like I'm still like helicopter mom in ways, and like even when we have a tour manager, I'm like making sure. But a good tour manager, I'm like do your thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I like to not have to do that stuff for sure. So
Yeah, right.
I don't know
yeah.
that I would do it for another band unless it was like Metallica or something like that.
That would be crazy. That's a big job.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, at that point, you probably have people working for you too.
you do?
So
Yeah.
it probably would be great.
Yeah, you have more of like a production man. It's like the whole, because I work with Struggle on the Jelly Roll tour, and like so we go through their production manager and all that, which we have a TM that's out there with them, but his job is mostly just to make sure that they get where they need to be, like the hotels and stuff like that. Yeah. And Struggle will have some like friends that'll come on board, so they have to book another hotel room, so it doesn't really get out of hand too much. But on the bigger tours, I can see it it can be very stressful, I'm sure. So I don't know if that's the first thing I would want to do. Probably like
stick to playing guitar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the good thing about me. I just had to show up and grab the microphone, dude.
Yeah.
You guys talk about multiple guitars.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Why aren't you?
Why
aren't you ready, Jose?
I definitely see both sides of it from doing 2 different roles in 2 different bands, and I try to empathize with both.
Oh yeah, it's hard when you just get the vocalist who's just been a vocalist though, and they're like, "I'm ready for sound check." I don't understand why.
If they're
and meanwhile you're running, meanwhile you're running cables,
What's sound
and throwing
check?
shit, and talking to the sound guy, seeing if your drummer's okay. Like everything good back there?
Oh my god.
So where did you? Let's start. Like, when did you first get into a band?
I got into my first band. I was 16, I think, 16, 17. So that would have been 2011. I had been playing guitar for a couple years and just jamming with friends from high school and stuff like that. I was like, I want to get into playing shows, playing in a band, because I never really played in a legit band, just like jammed in a garage.
Yeah.
And some of my friends I went to high school with, like people like Jacob Palmer and stuff, like they were playing shows, their band back in the day. And I was like, damn, I'd see pictures on MySpace or whatever. And it's like, I want to do that. So I went perusing on.
That's how you know you're getting old, bro. You just threw out MySpace.
Yeah. I just had
Those
to
are the
give
days.
context to the time.
I appreciate it.
So then I went browsing on Facebook. Whenever I started looking, I was like, I want to do this. And I was like probably 16 and just like went down the rabbit hole, was looking at venues and like what bands are around, I was looking at band pages, like who needs a guitar player, whatever. I found this band called To Die Once More, who had been around. They used to open up like a lot of the shows at the Legion and stuff like that back in the day, Red Door or whatever. They had already been established for years. And I can't remember how I hit them up, or maybe they posted something, they were looking for a guitar player. I don't remember that aspect of it. But yeah, so I got into contact with them and they had me, try out and whatnot. And I started playing shows with them. They were all like, I think 20, 21 at the time, so they're a little bit older than me, and they had already been doing, they had already kind of cut their teeth in the local scene and regionally. So like my first show I played was actually in Mobile, Alabama, which is like an hour and a half away.
Nice.
So I kind of had that going for me, that we kind of got slotted into opening up for bigger bands, like right off rip.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I did that for a couple years, play guitar. Well, actually that was probably like maybe a year, and then the singer left, and then we couldn't find a singer. We like auditioned a bunch of different people. It was really a screamer. And then I was just fucking around at rehearsal one day, and I like picked up a mic and started doing it. And I like figured out how to start screaming and stuff like that. And I became the vocalist of that band. That band became a band called Sarcophagy. And we were a band for a few years. Same thing, played a lot of the local circuits. We did like some small touring, regional, East Coast, Southeast stuff, some festivals and whatnot. I got burnt out in doing like super, super heavy music. My music tastes had changed away from like deathcore, melodic death metal stuff, and I got more into like post-hardcore. Mm-hmm. And I've always like listened to a variety of things anyways, but I wanted to do something different. So I was like, I'm just gonna start playing guitar again, and try to start a new project, writing songs, which I hadn't played guitar in years at that point. I had sold all my gear and everything.
Oh wow!
I didn't even own a guitar. Shout out Dwayne, if you're watching this. He let me borrow his guitar, which I think was like a Schecter or something like that. Mm. And he had like Fruity Loops on his laptop or something like that, and he brought it over, and like I fucked around and wrote some shit, and then we're like, okay, well, like this should be a band. So
oh, nice.
Hit some friends up, and then That's when we started Vagrants, which was like 2015, but it was like, I would say different. That's like the incubation period.
Yeah. When did you play your first show with Vagrants?
2016, 17. It was.
So we played we started coming over to Pensacola with Worthy about the same time you started playing shows, going full forward with Vagrants.
Our first show was after the Burial, Texas in July.
Oh, I was at that show. Yeah.
At Handlebar. So
yeah.
Whenever that was, somebody can find the flyer.
Yeah. That was the first time I took Cody to see After the Burial.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, at Handlebar. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first show we played, and, we were thankful to hop on that. Like, I think we're telling you maybe before we were rolling that just, like, made a bunch of connections through playing in bands and stuff like that, and I was like, super down to, like, learn and help out and, like, street team stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important for anyone that's watching this show. Like we were talking about before we started recording, is like I said, I used to just volunteer at the Palladium and help out. I mean, they paid me to work there to do the load-ins and load-outs. And, I did, like, runner. You go buy food for the band and whatnot.
Hospitality. Give yourself a nice title.
Hospitality, yeah.
Well, I think you can kind of vouch for that, too. Like, there's not a lot of money to go around, especially in your local scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you got to pay big guarantees or something like that, those guys got to get paid and the bar's got to stay open or you're not going to have a place to play. But there's always an opportunity to gain something from every show. You can gain a relationship,
exactly.
Like it's not always about pay. Yes, it is great to be paid. And
I think you can tell, though, that, at least if you have somewhat of a bullshit radar, you can see who is actually passionate, who cares about like, the scene, the music, and all that stuff, is there for the right reasons.
I always looked at it as like we're all trying to help each other. So like if I'm helping you, you're gonna help me. Not so much that I'm trying to get something out of you, but like we're all in the same industry. We're all trying to work together. Yeah. Like
rising tides raise all ships.
Yeah,
always try to live by that.
And then if there's 5 people in the audience, probably shouldn't be walking around like with your hand out.
You're
the local band. You know what I mean? Like read the room.
Well, you definitely have to be able to bring
read the room
something.
A little bit, boys.
Yeah, I think that's why I had such good connections with the friends that I had. Is just I think it's just about being genuine. We all know, like I know, you coming to work at my venue and you being a musician. There's something you're gaining out of this more than just a monetary thing.
Yeah, you meet every person coming in and out of the door. Whether it be a fan or other artists and things like that. I have met people on the road touring, and they're like, whatever in fucking Wichita, Kansas, and then now I'm playing this festival in Texas, and their band is like there. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, dude, what the hell? What are you doing here? And it's like, we got this opportunity.
Yeah,
it's just through face to face and making connections and things.
It's so cool seeing those dudes too, because when you start out, like you just see like a band starting out, and you're like, "Oh, good luck, guys!" And then you're playing a festival, and they're there next to you. He's like, "No freaking way, dude! Like, good for you." Yeah, it makes you feel so good. I'm sure. Did you have like local openers on the tour with the Word Alive?
Yeah. We had one to two every day, which was really cool. There was
nice.
It was us, this band called Dark Divine. They're from Florida.
Yeah.
Well.
I've seen them. They're really good.
Yep. Yeah. Nerve, who is out of Sacramento. They were the opener, and then we had 1 or 2 locals.
Nice.
Which was really cool because, you get to see what's going on in the world out there.
Yeah.
Some bands who are, still doing like more older stuff, and some that are like, oh, this feels really fresh.
Yeah.
Any of those bands, 1 or 2 of them that you want to shout out that really impressed you? That were a local.
You're putting me on the spot.
I know, dude.
I can go through Master Tour after, and you can like put their.
Is there one that stood out to you that you were like, holy shit, like that's pretty cool?
Yeah, this band called Worthy of the Crown.
Thanks, dog.
God.
Thanks, dog.
He's like winking at me. He's like,
no,
there's any bands you stood out to. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, but I was. I guess
that's where he was going with that.
No. Honestly, the last 5 weeks were a blur.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Too much.
That's true. Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's just always getting the perspective of you're where Worthy is trying to go, and then the things you tell yourself when you're sitting out there, or like when you open up for a show. I'm sure you've probably told yourself stuff where like, if I was headlining a tour, I would be out there for every single one of the things, and then you get to where you're at, and you're like, oh, we've got shit to do. Yeah, I've got to warm up, and I've got to make sure
do VIP experiences, things like that, or it's like there is no green room at this venue, and it's either we sit in this venue, for the whole show where it's just loud as shit the entire time, or our hotel is 10 minutes away. I'm just gonna go chill there for a bit and then come back. A couple hours before our set starts or whatever, and and mingle and see what's up. So there were some nights too that's just like I'm not even in the building.
It's a very good point.
You have to take those moments for yourself, especially that tour. We didn't have a lot of off days. We were doing 5-6 shows in a row. Playing an hour and 20 minutes. So it's like we have to take time to go chill, for vocal rest, for mental rest too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We played Nashville and then drove overnight to Greensboro, North Carolina, which is 9 hours or more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of routing like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. So let's talk about Vagrants a little bit.
Yeah.
So that started in 2016. First shows 2017. Who are all the members of Vagrants? And
now or then?
Now, and then because I know you've had some roster changes since then. And then what do you guys got in store? What's going on with Vagrants right now? I know you're on tour, so it's kind of with work live. So
it is definitely a lot to balance both bands, but right now Vagrants is really just focusing on writing stuff, and I will say is me, Anna, and Forrest, because Bryce lives in Buffalo now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He moved to Buffalo.
Oh, right on.
So, which he tours a bunch too. He runs lights for Asking Alexandria and for The Plot and You and whatnot. So he stays busy.
Is he still a part of the band, and he'll go out on tour with you guys?
We have a show October 27th at the Handlebar, with the band called Glistener. And we're flying him down for that show.
Oh, right on.
Oh, nice.
We just have to be more selective about what we do, which I was getting at is fine because we're focusing on writing right now, writing our second record and figuring out what our next move is.
And it seems like all of you guys are networking in your own sort of way too. So you're opening doors for Vagrants by being on the road with The Word Alive, and then he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
You can kind of cross promote while you're out on the road too. So
yeah,
and I know you're getting a lot of traction just from your social media and stuff like that too. People are following you more and more. So
yeah, shout out everybody who's also taking the time to check out Vagrants, who's the Word Alive fan. Because I've gotten a lot of messages from people. It's I didn't know you were in another band. Checked it out. It's awesome. So I love that. When it was really cool when we did a tour in February too. Vagrants did with Limbs, and we did a East Coast run. Dark Divine was on that as well.
Nice.
And it was really cool seeing Word Alive fans come out and support, and
that's cool.
Meeting up to come see us, especially in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of fans there. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I was always about that with my band, is just trying to get the guys to, if you got a merch opportunity or something, go go do it. Help promote the band a little bit. We'll take a break from shows. We'll just write while you're on the road, or say I got an opportunity. I did 2 weeks of Warped Tour one time, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and then you guys write while I'm away, and the whole time I was just networking my ass off. So if I could get 4 other dudes to do that, or however many,
so many opportunities in the music industry are leveraged by connections. We were talking about that before we started rolling too, but it's the hardest part is to get somebody to take the call or to open the message or to open the email. So if you have that, hey, I met that guy actually. I remember that. He said he played in a band. I'll actually take time out of my day to see what this is about. It can lead to so many things.
Yeah, the connections thing is probably one of the most important things besides playing your instrument well.
Or that's a given, right?
But making those that's why I was kind of going with the whole I would probably think that you would say that the connections you've made through the Pensacola scene in all those years far outweigh the monetary gain you had for Vagrants or for Sarcophagy or anything that. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, look at where you are right now, and that probably all stemmed from Pensacola and you branching.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm from here. I cut my teeth here. Mm-hmm. I'm still here going to shows every week that I'm home. You know, I just went and saw my buddy Starlin, who we're in his house right now because my house is being renovated.
Yeah, shout out to Starlin.
Thank you, Starlin.
Yeah, check him out on. He's on IG, right? That's the only thing he has,
Starlin
right?
Starlin B.
Yeah, Starlin B on IG.
Yeah.
I'll try and put a little tag that pops up on that one. Yeah.
His music's awesome.
Yeah.
Great dude. So I just saw them Saturday. I was working shows over at Vinyl this past week too. So, you know, I still am very, very involved in the Pensacola music scene. And I still try to make time for everybody, you know, that I can, you know, while I'm home. It matters to me, you know.
Yeah, you're
to
that
be present.
Yeah, it's like I still haven't forgotten about you guys, dude. Like,
and you know, that's, you know, whatever anyways.
Yeah.
It's like,
are you still producing and stuff?
I am, yeah, when I have time too between tours and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot more like producing songwriting stuff. We'll have bands come in with a song or without a song, and we'll write something from scratch or take their song and, like, you know, rework it or whatever.
Yeah.
To make it the best possible pizza pie it can be.
Nice.
How early into recording were you when you recorded us?
Very.
Yeah.
Like the first stuff we did?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I started recording out of necessity when I started Vagrants because I needed to find a way to demo and pre-pro this stuff. Mm-hmm. Some friends around me had, like, you know, small setups, and I was like, this seems like a really cool way to be able to, you know, get ideas out. I had only one studio experience then, like, going to a producer, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible time. So I was like, I guess I'm just going to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of my angle with whatever I do in life. Is just like, I guess I'm just going to teach myself how to do
it.
Yeah.
Well, that is, I mean, and that kind of rubbed off on me too.
It's like the local band mentality is like,
you know,
I got to just do it.
I mean, really, like, I saw what he was doing because he recorded the first 3 albums that we put out, or 3 EPs and whatever. Yeah. And I just saw that he was doing it, and I'm like, well, if he can fucking do it, you know, why don't I just, you know, grab some Final Cut and learn how to do some videography? I'll just watch YouTube, you know, YouTube University.
Absolutely.
Same thing with, like, the mixing thing is a little bit different just because you got to really have a knack for it, and you got to be willing to, like, kind of really dig into that to make a good sound. And it's just way too stressful for me to, like,
because mixed revisions, like, can you turn this kick drum up to 3 dB? I think that I can't hear the vocals.
Change
the
this?
vocals are, like,
hey, I know you did the whole album, but can you change this symbol?
China.
Dude, I so get it. I so understand it, but bro,
me and you,
no comment.
Jose, me and you've had a lot of conversations, and it was we're on the same page.
Yeah. There were so many times where, well, one of the best pieces of advice I got, and this is later on in my career, was after I was in the studio and writing and all that, but one of the best pieces of advice I got is just record it, dude, and get it out there, and just keep creating and keep recording, keep putting stuff out there. The more and more you go back and edit and nitpick, you're gonna find something else. So, and I used to tell my dudes that, like, the more and more we keep going back, you're gonna keep finding some. Just be happy with it.
There's the phrase, art is never finished, it's abandoned, or whatever the phrase is. You know, it's like you're saying, you're gonna keep finding things to change, and you're changing it. You're not necessarily making it better, you're making it different.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to release it and move on to the next thing. Yeah. I do think it is important, especially for bands nowadays, because you're expected to be this multifaceted media company. You have to have the visuals for the socials, you have to the audio, the live show, etc. You need to have a standard and, like, a level of consistency and, like, vision for what you're going for. So I think that is good to take time and refine it, but also it's a balance of what you're saying. It's you have to set the ship to sail at some point.
Yeah, I felt like after, you know, revision number 17, it was like, can we
Yeah.
calm it
Is
down?
the song any better?
Yeah.
Because you're like
Yeah.
tweaking the mids on the guitar tone or whatever.
Or you
incessantly,
you start getting into the point where the other members of the band aren't hearing what the one member is hearing, and you're like, bro, it sounds the exact same.
Yeah, and I guarantee you show it to whatever person who's going to listen to it and consume it. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love it.
I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, I think
Is the song good or
I
not?
used to have like a rule on it because I would listen to the song for the first time and I wouldn't have an opinion. I would like wait on it, listen to it a few more times, like kind of give myself like a 3-day window of just like listen to it. After the 3 days, if I really feel like we need to fix that one little detail, then let's go ahead. But you know, I think a lot of people when they get their music back, they're like, no, we got to do this. Like, just take some time, listen to it, get comfortable with it. I think a lot of people immediately like just start making like
or they think
dissecting something. I do think there's like also at the same time, not to be a contrarian, but you should also trust your gut. If something like right off the bat is like this is like the wrong direction, whatever, but that's almost a different story than like turn the snare drum up, you know, like by like 0.5 dB.
He's such a hard
nitpicking versus like having a vision and making sure that it's like within that vision. I think, you know, is always the balance with anything.
Yeah, and I think also you're working with like a producer that, you know, when you're writing the music, you hear it a certain kind of way, and then you work with a producer, and it's their job to produce it.
Yeah,
and they'll like change it a little bit, or maybe there's something that wasn't exactly what you thought it would be, and now it sounds different. So now you're like, oh, this is fucked.
You know.
You know what? When working with you, you're the one who actually taught me that, like, I would try and get the demos as best as I could, like as perfect as I could. And then I would send them like, oh, I'm going to send all the demos. And then, you know, after I tracked or whatever, and then you're like, yeah, I didn't even listen to it. And I'm like, and I was like, you know, but then I said, and you're like, no, I'm just let me, and you said, let me do what I think.
Yeah.
And then you guys tell me if I'm off base. Like, and yeah. Like, and
I love that mentality. Though.
Well, yeah, it was cool.
Like, you hired me.
Because like the Titus album, for instance, there was a couple songs in there where they sounded just a little bit different from the demos, and I was like, and we thought they sounded, I was like, oh, like it kind of like, we went, oh, all right. Like, that's sick. Oh, holy shit. Okay. You know, like you do that. But yeah, I just remember doing that, and like, and then you get the guy in the band that's like, doesn't sound like the demo. And I'm like, maybe it's not supposed to sound like the demo.
Yeah.
Like, he's another member of the band now. Like, we've asked him to come into our band for this moment. Like, we have to trust that person. I was like, same with the mix engineer or the mastering engineer. Yeah. He has now become a member of our band for the moment. And we have to like...
I think you should only work with people who you have had a conversation with and are on the same page with where you want to go with the final product.
Yeah.
And maybe how you get to that is not how you think it should be, whatever. You know, what matters is taking it to that final place. And you shouldn't work with people whose work you don't enjoy or fuck with.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I've been hit up by bands before that, like, honestly, like bands that sound like Worthy of the Crown. They're like very like, it's very tight, very edited and stuff like that. And over the years of doing this, I've learned myself, like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to the guy who wants to make it sound like it was played perfect and like played by, you know, not speaking about you guys.
No, I get
you guys' music is awesome, but like that makes it sound clinical and things like that. That's not my vibe. And I think you should go to the person who's going to bring out that aspect of your band that you're trying to bring out, as opposed to like working with somebody who's just, you know, close to you, you know, or whatever, or is cheap or affordable. You should go to the right person.
Well, I always...
Yeah, and pay that money because it's going to come out the way you want it to, because you're paying...
Your name is on it. It's art, you know. It's going to go on Spotify, which will be around until the world ends.
I have a weird thought when it comes to that, though. Like, from my perspective, I always, like I thought it would be cool to work with, like, Rick Beato. Do you know Rick Beato?
Of course.
I thought it would be cool to work with Rick Beato. just because he's
worthy of the crown.
Yeah, if I ever got the chance to,
Yeah.
he doesn't mix or record anybody anymore.
Doesn't do a
But
whole lot.
I think that would be cool, is because it's in like an outside influence of like that outside the box where you can get like so far into gent that you're just genting. And it's like, you know, and you're just like, okay, it's got a gent. Or like guys will get like, it's got to have a breakdown after a breakdown with a breakdown. You got, you know.
You have to halftime the breakdown.
Yeah, and then you have to halftime the breakdown.
And then double time the breakdown.
Yep, and two-step. And, you know, where I kind of look at it as like, you have your influences, but then you're trying to do you. You're trying to do something new. That's what makes all those bands that you love, August Burns Red, After the Burial of Veil of Maya, is they created something. And, you know, and they had their influences too, but then they took it and made it this thing. And I always thought it would be cool to work with a producer. That's why I always thought it was cool working with you. It's like, you know, you'd give a suggestion, like, hey, guys, you know, you get an idea in your head, and you're like, hey, guys, what if we, you know, and I like that. Somebody who's outside the box thinking, you know, like, guys, where's the chorus in this? What? There's no chorus. Could we put a chorus in here?
Yeah.
You know, or the chorus only goes one time. That's not a chorus. Choruses repeat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like
I do think it's important. Just again, it's like not even working with somebody who is like within your purview genre wise, because I've worked with producers too that are like, my band doesn't sound like anything necessarily that they've done, but it's like, I respect what they do as a producer, as a mix engineer, etc., and the tones that they get. You know, it's finding our space within that to collaborate and make something cool. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And did you recorded all of Vagrants stuff, or?
I did our early stuff when we got signed in 2018. Well, actually, before we got signed, we went and recorded our EP Separation with Matt McClellan up at Glow in the Dark Studios.
Nice.
Well, we did drums at Glow in the Dark, and then we did the rest at his place. He had like a home studio at the time. And then Equal Vision signed us off of that and essentially bought the EP. And then our full length we did with, we were supposed to go up to Toronto and do it with Sam Guayana. That's where he was living at the time. He's in LA now. But then COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
So we had to like totally rethink how we were going to do the record. So we hit up Matt Goldman, who's produced Under Oath. He's produced The Chariot, you know, As Cities Burn, so many of like very influential bands for us. And we're like, can we track with you and just send to mix? And we did that. And,
oh, nice.
Came out really good. I tracked all the vocals at my home studio though, but all the guitars and the drums and bass were all done with Matt Goldman up at Gem City Studios in Jellicoe, Tennessee.
Right on.
We just were up there for 3 weeks, locked ourselves in this. There's nothing there. There's one stop sign. There's a McDonald's, and then the nearest Walmart even is 35 minutes away.
Oh wow!
Just this old church that was converted to a studio. It has bunk beds in it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you asked me originally, but
oh no, just if you had recorded everything yourself.
Yeah.
So well, because I love your sound too. I was because he had told me that we were gonna have you on the show, so I was like, oh, I got to do some research and. But I listened to your whole the newest album, and I love the sound.
Thank you.
Definitely I can show you my band at some time, but we were kind of in the same realm of
bro, let's tour.
Yeah, well, if I was still in a band, but I love post hardcore, and it was funny because I went from Slipknot and Korn and stuff, and only knowing that, and then I got out of the military. My buddy's like, "You gotta listen to We Came as Romans." I was like, "Who the f is that?" You know, and then that got me into Under Oath, and I just went down that whole path, and I love the mixture of screaming and singing, and it's just because once that chorus hits, Under Oath, drowning in my sleep, that. Oh my God! It's
they're the goats for a reason.
It's just
they still crush that shit every night.
Yeah, but I still remember where I was when I first listened to that song. It was just you can write music like this.
I remember being 8 or 9, and I guess it would have been TRL. I don't remember exactly, but coming home from school and they were playing In Regards to Myself, the music video.
Yeah,
and just being like, what is going on? And then. Louder Now by Taking Back Sunday. Also, make damn sure that video too. I remember being like, whoa, this is crazy. But then, I also was very into like metal and stuff like that. So I kind of went more that way. Like we said earlier, like played in a deathcore band, and then I kind of came back to my roots. And
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Post-hardcore is like, I would say, the balance of heavy versus, clean melodic stuff is what speaks to me mostly.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's about getting the emotions out there. Like, I just connected so well. And like even like the hardcore shit, like there's that emotion in there, but it's just, some people operate on those frequencies and you just find your frequency with whatever music you listen to. So, but post-hardcore has always hit home for me. So
Still does.
Yeah. I think if I was ever to get back into music in any sort of way, it would have to be a post-hardcore band or something like that. So
just like the broadest genre ever, just like metalcore.
Yeah.
Whatever is like,
Yeah.
There's like 100 different variants of that. But
yeah. Well, it's crazy too. There are bands out there that it's wild to me that you can be unique in a certain kind of genre. Like there are certain bands that even are starting out now that you listen, like, that just catch your ear and you're like, damn, holy fuck, they're so good. They're playing, what everyone else is playing, but just doing something different with it. Like, I don't know. It's like, I'm the biggest Johnny Booth fan ever.
Oh yeah, Johnny Booth is
sick.
dope.
But they,
Hey, we got a whole room of fucking Johnny Booth
Dude.
fans, right? Yeah, Johnny
they're
Booth's sick,
like,
dude.
and they're not. I mean, they just did a tour through here, or
I
through
tried to-
Alabama.
I tried to book him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was working so hard trying to get
Dude,
that.
I
in.
heard their music and I was just like, what are they doing differently that other people aren't? And they're just so good. Like everything they put out.
Like you're saying earlier, it's like the raw energy and emotions. It harkens back to like every time I die and Norma Jean.
Hell
Sort
yeah.
of shit, like.
And you can hear it in their playing too. Like there is aggression and
They're
an emotion
musicians, man.
in the music, which I appreciate. Like
100%.
from the get go.
I'm glad you know who they are because I
Yeah.
fucking love that
Yeah,
band.
this band Static Dress too is another like Static Dress. They're from the UK, but they're like a post-hardcore band that came out like I guess during the pandemic, but they're really good.
Would you consider Johnny Booth post hardcore?
Yeah, sort of, I guess. Yeah,
like
I mean, what else?
Metalcore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, because they're not hardcore.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's so much influence in there.
And they're not
yeah, like
metalcore.
right when you get like a post-hardcore vibe, it's like they break into that like triplet metalcore pattern that you're like, oh yeah, oh shit. Oh,
I like what the Casey Strain did, like however many years ago. They're like, don't call us a deathcore band. Our genre is heavy.
Yeah,
and I think that's cool too.
They're one of those bands too. Yeah, for sure.
Like Casey Strain, like it doesn't, I get what they're going for. I mean, people are going to put things in boxes because we do that as human beings.
Yeah.
So we want to understand it. But I think just from an artist perspective, if I give it any advice, is don't worry about the genres and just create
Exactly.
what feels natural to you and what comes out, and let other people decide or fight over that. I speak to so many young bands who are like, yeah, we're really trying to do this like spirit box like gent thing, and then we wanted to be more like post hardcore, so we started like they're just like
all over the map.
like just like trying to like go do whatever another band is doing, things like that, and
just emulating in a way,
emulating,
kind of.
that's the
Yeah,
word,
not so much trying to write like within that, like just whatever you think sounds good,
Pick
write
up
it,
an
dude.
instrument.
Yeah,
I've always
make sound.
Yeah.
I've always sent out music. Whenever I send out music, I'm like, is it a good song?
Yeah.
And then if somebody says yes, then I'm like, okay, then we're gonna roll with it. Like I don't care if every song sounds different on the album or the EP, or if they all sound the same. If it's a good song, put it out.
I think nowadays it matters the least as it ever has, because things like Spotify and playlists and stuff like that, people want variety in music.
Mm-hmm.
People get bored, I feel like, nowadays if you put out a record where everything sounded like the same tempo, key, vibe. People like eclecticness. I mean, look at artists like Kim Dracula or something like that. Have you guys listened to Kim Dracula?
I've heard the name. I haven't
Okay,
listened.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It is the most off the wall shit you're ever gonna hear. It's like changing genres every section essentially, but it's like really cool and refreshing, and it's connecting because of that.
like a Frank Zappa type of thing.
I could see
in
like
a modern
Boingo
Frank Zappa.
Boingo meets like Scarlord meets Lorna Shore. Like,
Oh, wow.
It's like really all over the place.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Even like a band like Avenged Sevenfold, their new record, I feel like is super eclectic and all over the place, but in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have listened to that either, but it's really good.
I haven't. I've listened to one
Dude,
song.
I've
off
only
that.
been listening to Johnny.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know me, Jose. I have my niche.
Sure.
No, I have for some reason just. I mean, I listen to Johnny Booth, and I've found a couple of like different bands that I normally like Brand of Sacrifice. Normally I wasn't like into that, but like that gravitated towards I gravitated towards that. The new Lorna Shore stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Johnny Booth is the last one that he was like, you gotta hear this, and I was like, well, if you're telling me I gotta hear this, or Darko's another one
Darko's
that
sick.
Ben I finally listened to something he sent me. He sends me shit all the time. I'm like, bro, I ain't got time. Like, I got so much shit going on. And
I have one band I'm
Have
listening
you
to.
listened
and
to
I
Grey
can't-
Haven?
No.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
listened to
Grey
them.
If you like Johnny Booth, they're like similar vein. They're like they have a different take on it, I'd say, but like those are two bands for sure that could tour together really.
Yeah, I just got really excited, man, when you showed me Johnny Booth. Like, it made me want to go to a show. Like, I was like, I want to go see them.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I just pictured them like, Dillinger Escape Plan all around the stage.
Headwalk.
You
see that
just
video? You know what video I'm talking about? They're like in a mall. And
Oh,
they're
dude.
Yeah.
That was like in the early
iconic.
2000s.
Yeah.
Iconic.
They hit himself
Yeah,
with
in the
mic
middle
and
of a
shit.
mall.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
what? Who booked that?
What a great, that'd be fun.
Dude, those were the Is there any bands out there that are doing crazy shit like that now?
And
Like,
honestly, in metal, no, because they all got sued for doing it.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
like I said at the beginning of the interview, I work for like a promotion company that does rock and metal stuff, but they also book a lot of rap stuff. So like last week, I worked the Soulja Boy show.
Yeah.
And I've worked other rap shows as well, and the energy there is often way more hype than if I go to a rock and metal show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're like mosh pits, like going.
There's way less instruments and all that stuff, too.
Yeah,
It's-
but the energy is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I've almost seen more of that visceral energy at rap shows in the last couple of years than I have at metal shows, which is a bummer because I love that shit.
Yeah, I missed that. Like oh my God, I remember seeing Glass Shaw when I was younger, and I just, like, I don't think they stopped moving. I just was like, this is awesome. Like, same thing with, Under Oath back in the day was wild. Norma
are,
Jean, they're still wild. They put on such a good show. They're like, Bring Me the Horizon is like so good live. Like, those bands are just they're just unstoppable.
Bring Me the Horizon is one of the best, metal shows I've been to.
Yeah.
It blew me away.
I've seen
Just
them
they're
one of my favorite bands for sure.
I guess that makes sense. It's, bands are hurting people or something. You can't be jumping out into the crowd.
Well, that's another thing. I think the crowd killing kind of, like, I'm one of those people that's there for the music. I'm way too old to be in the mosh pit.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who don't even want to go near the stage because of that. And most people are respectable, but you always get, you always get those 1 and 2s that
I do, and growing up and going to both metal shows and hardcore shows every week, multiple shows a week. Yeah. So I see both sides of it, and I don't necessarily like.
You haven't picked a side, is what you're. Yeah.
I know I don't. I've had my nose broken at a show, just in the pit or whatever but I was in the pit and I chose to do that. Mm-hmm. Crowd killing, obviously, it's like that's a different level of.
Yeah.
If you're just going and like hitting some random showgoer.
Yeah.
I think that's not good and does not lead to like a very. It leads to a divisive local scene, and we had that in Pensacola for a while. And I think after the dark times, we'll call it, when shows came back.
Yeah,
there was less of that, and everybody was like more excited to be at shows, and like there was less animosity. But I've seen fights break out at mixed genre shows between like the metal bands who want to push mosh versus the hardcore kids who are,
I just remember bringing my son to I brought him to Periphery and Animals as Leaders, but it was like a way mixed genre show. I don't know if you remember that tour that came through. It was like Animals as Leaders, Periphery, like Cattle Decapitation. Who's the dude? Oh, he's so wicked. Is it Cattle Decap? I don't know. Anyways, there was a bunch of different bands, and man, like my son, the pit opened up, and my son, he was like 16 at the time, first time I ever seen a pit open up, and I was like, had to grab him. I was like, just stay right here. There's a pole. Just stay behind the pole. You'll be fine. Like it's gonna be all right. But I could just see if he got punched in the face at 16 and it was his first and broke his nose, would he want to come back? Yeah. Or would that have scared him? We've had kids that come to, like we've had kids that are like 8, like little girls with headphones on, and they're at the show with their dads. And, and I've normally with those shows, I've grabbed all those motherfuckers and just been like, if it's a show I booked, I'll be like, you guys need to be very careful. There's an 8-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
If something happens, I'm coming for you.
I feel like it should be your parent. The parent should not bring them near the pit.
Well, you know how they do.
Yeah.
They'll get wild and like stretch out a little bit further and then they're over here along the wall, and I'm like, just be careful.
You're such
a
dad,
dude.
You are.
Hey,
Yeah.
you don't want to see an 8-year-old little girl get.
I mean, nobody does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The first show I ever played was it was in Mobile, Alabama at the old Music Box, and was with this band DelRio, and so all the other bands on the show were fucking heavy too, or we used to play with this band called King Conquer back in the day. It was just like a old Florida deathcore band.
Yeah,
and those shows were some of the most violent shows I've ever seen still to this day. People just go crowd killing. And I remember the fear of being 16, 17 years old and like seeing that go down for the first time. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But that's also kind of like was exciting and got
Yeah.
me into it.
Yeah.
And like,
the danger of it.
Yeah. And I think part of like the alternative music scene is like a counterculture and it being unsafe in ways.
Yeah.
And that's can be inviting or like, somebody needs that outlet.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
anything, there's balance, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, don't punch an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
condoning punching children.
it's also knowing. Yeah, it's also like when you're at a Knock Loose show, you should expect that it's gonna get out of hand.
Yeah,
you know.
and me, I'm not a pit guy. I stay way in the back and I watch from afar and I just nod my head. I'm like, this is a great show.
No, but
because
just
I'm there for the music. You know?
Yeah.
And the people who want to beat the shit out of each other, let them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't get on it.
That's what I kind of figure.
It's just knowing your crowd. Like if you're at a Kill Switch show and you're crowd killing, get the fuck out, dude. Like you shouldn't be doing that shit.
I just bring my
Kill
wife
Switch.
and my kids sometimes, and
For sure.
I don't want my wife getting punched in the face.
Not that I've
because
ever seen
somebody's
that
like,
before,
oh, this
but-
will be cool to run around the outside, while my wife's trying to take a picture or something like that. Blast. Or Dee Dee, Dee Dee.
Yeah,
Like she's in there taking photos and somebody's swinging a leg out.
She's a boss, though. She does it.
Yeah, she'll kick
I
them
think
back.
the whole crowd would take out.
Yeah.
If they fucked with the mama hen, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
She's great.
Yeah, it's cool meeting all the people. Like I was saying before, just being from Boston, moving down here, and meeting all the photographers and musicians, and seeing like how the scene is here compared to how it is up there. Because, dude, I mean, just being in the Northeast, there's so many bands. Like it's so oversaturated. Then you come down here, and it's like there's like there are bands, but it's kind of more scarce down here, which obviously makes sense for where we're at. But
over the years too, where there's been like, I will say in the last couple of years, I feel like the scene has been the strongest it's been, and there's not an abundance of bands or the excess, but everybody who's doing it is like doing it at a really awesome level. Like bands like you guys.
Everybody's putting in work.
After Dusk.
Like
things
all
like
the
that,
bands that are in the logo are putting in work, and even some of the newer bands like Inner Wounds.
Yeah.
I know Brain Burn just started up. Who's the other one?
Blood.
Bitter Blood. Yeah,
Brave
they're
New
putting in
World, of
work.
course.
They're trying to, Brave New World. What do we got? Rise Up Lights. Please help me if I'm forgetting anybody.
Can't name them all.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I know Beyond.
Yeah, there's enough to where we
Beyond
can't sit here and
Misconception
name them all, but
is
it's
coming
still
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
After Dusk over in Mobile. yeah, man, I know they're all putting in work, which is great, and they're all trying to do stuff because I've had a lot of conversations with them. I'm sure you probably have too.
Yeah.
And they're all looking to, you know,
Yeah. Anytime
make a step.
anybody has questions of like what they can be doing or like my opinion on what they are doing and stuff, like I'm always down to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Help out when I can, or if there's somebody I know that I can put them in contact with, like.
I've always bounced ideas off of you, even for like shows. I know I've called you 2 or 3 times and been like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because you've been in the area. You've probably seen these guys come through. You probably know how much they make and what they've pulled. And if I ever have a question, you've always picked up the phone or at least call me back.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I always appreciated that you always, you know, tried to give the best advice you could at the time. So that,
because, you know,
yeah.
There were only a couple people in the scene who were doing that when I got in, you know, and I think it's only good for everybody if everybody is like helping each other out and whatnot, you know. It can't hurt.
Yeah,
So.
that's what we were just talking about in the car here, because like with this, it's cool what we're able to do, like bring you on the show, and we have like dreams to go out and talk to other venues and bring venue owners on and promoters and meet everybody in the scene. And all that does is help build everybody up. It's like, you know, because I know After Dusk looks up to you. I know you like them. It even more solidifies everybody's relationship. Like you really start to realize like, oh, damn, like that dude's only a phone call away, you know, like from a cool opportunity.
And what is a phone call or like a text message or whatever, like of my day, you know?
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to give my time because, you know, at any point when I can, because you know, it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
But it could be a make or break thing for them, or like, you know,
absolutely,
that could lead to something that changes, you know, somebody else's career or whatever.
Yeah, this one phone call could save you $10,000 or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, like,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I might
sign the deal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and you've
Don't
already
sign the
been there
deal.
before too, and yeah, I've seen the. I mean, you're already signed to a label, so you know what that's like, and the negotiating and all that stuff that goes into that and stuff. We had offers on the table, but nothing we ever took. And I don't regret that at all. We had some pretty.
We had some Vagrants had some early on from a couple labels that, looking back, I know there was a point where we looked at it, we're like, well, you know, maybe is this the best there is, you know, and I'm glad we didn't take it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you get so excited. And this is good advice for kids.
Validation.
Yeah,
so you're
it's like,
oh, somebody thinks what I'm doing is sick. Like,
yep.
Sure, I'll sign whatever, but you don't know that you're signing away. You know, you're not thinking about the long-term effects of you signing away your music rights, maybe even your merchandise rights if your deal really sucks.
Yep.
Publishing rights, which is, you know.
Yeah, and now you're in debt, and then what if the band breaks up? Now what happens?
The band's going to break up because you're going to be in debt because you can't make money. You're taking away what few avenues you have to make money.
Yeah.
You know, because
there's not a lot of money in this.
No.
Yeah. Everybody's got to get a chunk.
Everybody wants some. I want some too.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
Right.
What since you just came back off tour, a headlining tour. I've never been on a headlining tour. Either have you?
Nope.
So
I've done headlining runs. But not tours.
Yeah. But this is a long extended headlining tour. What was your favorite thing about it, and what was the worst thing about it? Or if you don't want to go worse, maybe just something that was unexpected and like caused you some stress, I guess. You could probably go, you know what I mean? That maybe I, as a local Southeast region touring band, wouldn't think of, you know, because it's probably, I'd probably sit here and go, it's probably so glorious.
I would say the thing that was probably the coolest is that the show, we could cater to our wants and needs as far as the run of show, to give like fans the most amount of time with us, those who got VIP or whatnot. You know, we weren't like rushed, like you only have 30 minutes. You know, we had like an hour, sometimes more, to like hang out or whatever with our fans, and being able to hang out after the show, not like directly after the show, not worry about having to get all of our stuff right off stage to get out of somebody else's way. Small things like that, I feel like, you know, make a difference.
You have roadies?
We have crew. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Wolf. Shout out Jameson. Shout out Kai.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for making our lives so much easier.
That's the best word in the music business, bro. That and pay.
Yeah. You're getting paid. A case of water and a beer.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
As far as like the worst thing, I mean, touring is touring. You're gonna have to take it how it comes.
Yeah.
I think this is not limited to headlining, but having vehicle trouble is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Our van was overheating.
Oh man.
It was a rental. It's
Yeah.
a big Sprinter van.
Yeah.
Whatever. And we were staying in hotels or Airbnbs on days off.
Yeah.
But dealing with that sucks, and then we have to push the whole load in back for everybody for the show because we're showing up late, but because we're headlining, we have to go stage our production, we have lighting, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say that was maybe the most stressful part. And like I said earlier, the routing for the tour was a little stressful too because it was a lot of overnights and drives. So
yeah, that's why I tell guys like these younger bands to get out there and start playing and like get out of your neighborhood as quick as possible so that you're kind of out there on your own. And like when things like that happen, you've been through it in a smaller scale. That if you ever get to a bigger scale, you know how to deal with it. You know how to operate on the fly and things that you can do to
keeping shit not stressful in tour is about that. It's like seeing those issues before they arise. And mitigating them, or when they do pop up, handling it with a cool head and be like, we've blown a tire going 70 down the interstate before.
Yeah.
Pull to the side,
That's actually.
Of course, it's stressful in the when you're in that scenario, but it's like, the show must go on.
Yeah, exactly.
You figure it out.
Yeah, man. You come prepared. You bring extra stuff. You do this. Yeah, man. I feel that.
Yeah, I had a toolbox with us all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a mechanic, so it was kind of like paid off and
for sure,
like crazy because
I know enough wiring to like wire guitars and stuff like that. And I remember this tour we went on with Vagrants. We borrowed our friend Nick's trailer, which we bought from Nick as our trailer now, but it was having all sorts of wiring issues. I had to stop in the middle of a Walmart parking lot like 3 or 4 different times on this tour and completely rewire the harness. Granted, if I was good at it, I probably would have done it
the first time.
But I'm like, I have like my phone flashlight and I'm trying to do it, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning after the show, getting pulled over by cops. Like, your lights are out again. Somehow we talked our way out of getting any tickets, but it was stressful. But thankfully, I had a toolbox, a little soldering iron, and some electrical tape.
Yeah,
it got us through the tour.
Got us through, man.
Dude, there's a lot of I had some friends that I'm not going to say who because I don't want to embarrass them, but they went on tour and they took their van that they had bought and everything, didn't do any maintenance to it before they hit the road. So they get all the way to Texas and then the van breaks down. And I was like, well, did you do like maintenance? You change oil and everything before you left? They're like, no, like, were we supposed to do that? I'm like, oh, dude. Like, you can't just hop in a car and just drive thousands of miles. Why would you think an overloaded van would make it on?
Pulling a trailer. And 6-7 people in the
driving it for 8 hours straight.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. God, if you're in a local band, even if you're doing a weekender, dude, get that thing maintenanced
before you leave.
Yeah, take it down to Pet Boys. Got to do a special running down.
Yeah, look at the tie rods.
Dude,
anything.
I went in my Tahoe, and every time before we did a 4-day run, I went and got the even if I had just gotten the oil change, I got an oil change.
Just do it, dude.
And
it saves you so much money because they were like thousands of dollars in debt because they got to get the thing fixed, and now they can't get home. They wouldn't have
had if they would have just.
It was that easy to, and it might have been maybe a couple $100, but now they're into it for $6,000.
Yeah, and you're stuck in Texas.
And had to cancel all their shows. Like it was.
So now you're out there with like
nothing.
For what?
Out there in the wilderness, dude.
Yeah, it might as well just be like a vacation, but at that point, it's like.
It's stressful for a vacation.
Like you can't even have a good time. It sucks. Yeah, there's a lot. Local bands, get your shit looked at before you hit the road, dude.
Yeah, you should be doing that with everything. New strings,
that's true too. Yeah.
New 9-volt batteries.
New 9-volt batteries.
Think of everything that will go wrong.
It
will go wrong.
You got a wireless system. Better have a cable ready.
Better have a cable. Better have
it out and ready to go.
batteries.
Yeah, like extra batteries. Extra. Oh man, I am the king of bringing extra.
I used
I'm
to
like,
do it all the time.
You need gaff tape?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm that guy too in my bands. It's like, I'd rather have it and not need it than be in a situation and be on tour somewhere where you don't know where the hell you are in the middle of some random city.
They don't have a Guitar Center.
Nothing around. Not even a Walmart within walking distance, whatever. And your set time's an hour and XYZ thing just broke,
I had a guy ask me one time why I had a screwdriver. I'm like, why wouldn't I have a screwdriver? Think about all the things you can do with a screwdriver.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't I bring a screwdriver with me? Like, like, man, dude.
What got you by on the road? Like, what's your like go-to thing while you're on the road?
Coffee.
Like, what keeps your brain going? Like, do you read or?
I wish I read more. I used to read a lot when I was a kid, but I feel like I don't have the attention span for it now. I have a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
And a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with, my band or crew and stuff like that. And
What was your favorite stop on the tour that you were like, went to that city and you were like, yes, this is awesome?
Vegas was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I had never played Vegas before, actually. So
Did you get a day off after or anything? Get to stay? Like, no.
I had to drive overnight to San Francisco.
Oh,
that was another place. Yeah, so I'll say this: I like to get out as much as I can and like walk to go get food somewhere, like coffee, or see the city a little bit. I don't, as much as I can avoid it, I don't want to stay trapped inside the green room.
Yeah.
In the venue.
Yeah.
In a room much half the size of this. Sometimes it's like you will go insane, or I think you start to feel it after being on the road for like 3 weeks. It's like, wow, I haven't touched grass in a while.
Yeah.
So anytime I can do stuff like that, I try to, with either by myself or with our crew or bandmates or whatever, just to get out and about, stretch the old legs, hit the gym if we can. Too.
Yeah. Did you get the old Planet Fitness membership?
I didn't use it once in the last tour. Some of the venues had a gym, or we just didn't have time to go, unfortunately. This last one.
Oh, the venues had a gym. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, on the Under Oath.
Oh, yeah.
They're nice venues.
Oh, wow.
Very nice venues.
Damn. That's pretty sick.
My arms felt like jelly that night, though.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're playing guitar, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, got to give the whole.
Yeah.
Like,
You're just like.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's so cool. That's what the last tour I went on, because I was doing VIP for an artist, so I was running the meet and greets and all that, and they had I didn't know what I was gonna do when I was on the road. I just had my laptop with me, but I didn't have any games or anything that really keep me busy. And they brought a Switch, and dude, I didn't put that thing down.
Dude, yeah, I bought Diablo 3 on the store, which has been out for like 10 years probably, but it's on Switch now. So I just have been doing that. I used to play a lot of computer games when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I have like Pokemon and this game called Hades, which is you can sink a lot of hours in Hades pretty easy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like you die, you start all the way back at the beginning.
Yeah, like Dark Souls or something like that, kind of.
Kind of, sort of, but it's like set up. The gameplay is different than that, but it's frustrating.
Oh yeah.
It'll keep you busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
keep some of your shit, but
they had Will had Cuphead, so I was playing that like crazy.
That game's infuriating.
What was for some of the VIP people, we would invite them onto the bus and they would play like one-on-one on the Switch. I can't remember what game they were playing though.
Like Mario Kart or Smash or something.
I think it was Smash.
Yeah.
Because I suck at that game. I'm so bad at it, and you know how like band dudes are, they take that shit seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, so he would invite people onto the bus and just whoop their ass. That game was so funny, dude. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Yeah.
What gear are you rocking right now for Word Alive, man?
I play Ernie Ball Music Man guitars.
Geek out a little bit here.
Yeah, I've got a Music Man Valentine.
Yeah.
I was playing a baritone from another manufacturer on this last tour, but I am no longer playing that guitar, and I have another Music Man that's showing up in like a week,
Right on.
which I'm very stoked on.
What kind of Music Man is same?
It's a Cutlass.
Cutlass?
It's
Oh,
like
sweet.
a Strat style. But
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
cool
I like the
sparkle.
Cutlass.
It's at Evertune right now, getting an Evertune put in.
Nice.
So I'll be rocking that for the next tour. Using Neural DSP Quad Cortex, Shure wireless stuff, Fishman pickups. Shout out Fishman for
The Moderns? You using the Moderns?
No, I'm using the Willie Adler set.
Oh, okay.
In most of my guitars, I have that in my main Valentine. And then I have a Mariposa that has the Javier Reyes set in it, which is very different sounding.
Yeah.
It has like way more like clean tone stuff to it, but that's a backup guitar.
Yeah.
And then this Cutlass I'm getting, I think I'm gonna do. It's like a HSS, so I'm gonna keep it with single coils. So I have some tonal variety because our new record has like a lot of like clean and like neck pickupy kind of tone stuff on it.
That's cool. No cabs?
No cabs, direct.
I like it.
Vagrants uses cabs.
Yeah.
Because we're playing smaller venues and it's important to have that
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the size rooms we're doing, it was like choose to have lighting and production or choose to have guitar cab. I'm gonna go the thing that impacts the show the most.
Yeah.
Which is having like a program light package that we carry with.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much what I'm using. 64 audio in ears.
Dude.
Any-
Might as well be a different language right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a vocalist.
What microphone do you use?
I use
We'll get it. We'll get
I
it.
wouldn't even
Here,
know
you
that.
get- Whatever the venue gives me, huh, Dave? The venue mic.
Telefunken hooked us up with a bunch of the M80s, and it's awesome.
Right
We
on.
used a bunch of different stuff over the ears, but the Telefunken M80 is, I found it really great for our voice. That's what Telly's using. That's what Zach's using. So,
That's dope.
yeah.
What are the plans for Word of Live for? Because we're going into fall. So, did you say you had another tour coming up?
Yeah, we just announced a tour in November, December with
Okay.
From Ashes to New called the Blackout Tour. It's their album release tour, pretty much.
Right on.
In the Northeast, East Coast, and Midwest, and we're going out November 20 something, I think. I'm bad at exact dates.
Any overseas plans for 2024 or anything you can talk
Yeah,
about?
in the spring, I can't announce it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be over in Europe, which is really cool. I've never been there before.
That is so
I'm
sick,
very
dude.
stoked, yeah.
Take lots of pictures.
Yep.
That's
well, no,
awesome.
We're talking about going out maybe a couple days early and just kind of like sightseeing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They've all been before.
Yeah, yeah. And you're probably just geeked up. Just
Happy to be here.
That's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
So yeah, I'll be on tour November, December with From Ashes to New. And
So that's Word Alive. Vagrants, you're writing music. Have you set any like kind of deadlines or anything of
yeah, we're
idea?
trying to get back in the studio. I would say by the latest, beginning of next year.
Okay.
Like January, because it's between tours for me.
Okay. You gonna be doing any touring with Vagrants in January or try to?
Possibly. I think we're just like, there are some back end things we have to figure out. I will leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we're focused on recording the music first and putting that out.
Right on.
So yeah.
And for your promotion company with and working with vinyl, how can people get a hold of you to try and support shows that you are
it's Reaction Presents and David Jones. It's his company who,
Okay.
if you're from Pensacola or Mobile area, David Jones. He's booked shows here for forever. Actually, one of the first shows I ever played, David booked The Word Alive in Mobile, and my band opened.
Oh,
That was
nice.
in 2012, I think. So.
Small world, man.
I've opened for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out David and Blythe at Reaction Presents.
Okay. Yep.
They can find them on the interweb.
On the interwebs.
Now, do you have like a dedicated crew that comes on tour with you guys every time, or is it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to keep the same people because you build trust, and just like any other workplace relationship, it's like you can count on them to do it how it needs to be done, or we always are trying to like push each other either within the band or with our crew or just in general in all facets to like continue to get better and dial things in. And it feels like the people that we have around us right now are like really believe in that too, and that's important.
Awesome.
Got a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did they get involved in touring with you guys? Is that just something they were already around the band enough, or?
No. So Wolf, who is one of my best friends and is our, I would say, content person. He does all of our photo and video, and also is handling merch stuff for us right now too. I know Wolf from living in Florida. Wolf is from Ocala, so we needed somebody for a tour, and I called Wolf, and Wolf flew out the next day. So.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, Kai, who drives and texts for us, same thing. I met him in Florida, and we needed somebody for a tour, and he flew out like the next day, or I guess we picked him up actually, but we're just, I think if you want to get into touring, maybe is the root of what you're asking
exactly.
here is like just say yes to the right opportunity when it comes up.
Yeah.
Don't do something that you don't want to do. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But if you're like, if you get asked to do something and it's like, oh damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trust your gut instinct and do it.
Yeah.
You might make no money, you might make some money, you might make a lot of money, but what you are gonna do is make connections and get experience and I feel like that's the whole topic of our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, dive in head first with whatever, and
Yeah.
you'll be rewarded. I feel like.
I've always told people too that like if you get an opportunity to like be on a merch, like let's say you went out with somebody that has a merch guy and needed a merch guy and there's a sound guy. Well, you can do stuff too. Like if merch is set up, and doors aren't open yet, you can go help the sound guy, or you can go help. Like if you're doing VIPs, if VIPs are over, well, go over to the merch table and be like, hey, can I help you? Can you show me how to do this so I can help you?
So many people too that I know who are like touring and really killing it started off doing merch or whatever, and they were like, "Well, I own a camera. Let me bring the camera." I started taking photos.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then
like somebody sees it. If you're doing a really great job, but like, can we bring you on tour, like to do photos, and then
and you learn how to do multiple different things. Then you really like saying like, I can be a roadie, I can be a merch guy, I can be a tour manager, I can
the basis of the question was just because I get asked all the time, like, how do I get on tour? It's like, I mean, you got to know somebody or meet somebody,
go to shows,
people, be present, be hungry, want to learn things, and be a good person.
Tell bands that you're willing to go out on the road with them.
That's another thing too.
Just tell bands.
You can't be a super fan and be thinking you're going to work with them.
Yeah. Even if it's on a local level too, just like be somebody that people want to have around, not in like a fake way.
Yeah.
But like, everybody's trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
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 So
yeah, man.
I think that's important is the vibes. And, I might not click with you. This is an example. I love you. But I might not click with you, but you might be very, very talented. You might click with him, and you guys are. So I think it's finding the group of people that you are meant to be with.
Yeah. Which is tough.
It is.
I think if you're young and you're willing and you are willing to work, that's another thing too. Like, don't just I'm going on tour with these guys. It's going to be all, beers, bitches, and weed. Like they're still like Jose counts on you to do a job every night.
For sure.
Like, man, I got to sell some. There's gas got to go in this thing.
You can tell the people who are there for the hangs or people who are there to work and learn and
sounds like you guys got a good team with Word Alive. It's like everybody's like, it's a team. Like we want this to be successful. This whole thing called.
And I have never had like crew people past like having a front of house engineer or like a merge person until now too. So it's like it's really cool to be surrounded by people that I want to be around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man, that's really cool.
Have we hit an hour? You think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. we're like 119.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think. You gonna be sticking around in Pensacola for a while? Like, is this gonna be home base still? I know at one time you had talked about maybe you guys moving and stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing some renovations on my house right now, and the goal is to get it. I don't want to like speak this into the universe, and it'll happen. Is to get it listed before too long, and maybe move up to like Nashville, or Atlanta area.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've actually looked up that way as well.
yeah. I have a lot of friends that are moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
And
The Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Blue Ridge.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half north of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They've got like a Bavarian town up there too, and stuff like that. So it's like kind of close to Chattanooga and Atlanta, like kind of a midway point.
Oh, okay.
But you know of the area.
Yeah.
We're gonna go up there and take a look and see if that might be a place that we might want to post up in the future. But
I think somewhere with less humidity.
I'm with you.
More like things to do, like sightseeing or hiking or whatever. I think, and has more of a broader music network that can be tapped into.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways I've done what there is to be done here in Pensacola, and I want to kind of take the next step in my life and career and see what else is out there to do.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. I think
that's really fucking cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's I like that.
Yeah.
Because I felt that way in Boston. I did everything I set out to do, and then it's funny because I moved here, and everyone's like, really, you moved out of Boston to start a music career? Getting into management or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I want to be by the beach. I
get that.
But well, it's funny you guys talking about getting out of here.
Well, we've been here. We've just been here so long. I'm sure, like, when you go to the mountains, you stand. Are you the same way? Like, you'll stand and look at the mountains, and go, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way.
Driving through even places like New Mexico and stuff, and just seeing it's one of my favorite places to drive if I'm driving on tour. Mm-hmm. It's like I will do the shift. I don't care what time, especially if it's like early morning. Yeah. Seeing the sun come up like over like all the crazy mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there. It's
it must be beautiful.
Yeah.
And I grew up as a kid in California and Washington. My dad was Navy.
Yeah.
So we moved around as a kid, and that's how I ended up in Pensacola. So I've been here since I was 9, but I've been thankful to have traveled a bunch to see the United States, what it has to offer, and I just think maybe I'm ready for something new outside of Pensacola. Yeah. And not to say I won't come back, and I have so many great friends here and people that I know and love that I will absolutely be back. So I don't want to move too far away to where I can't drive down here in a day.
Yeah.
And not,
just something a little different. That's kind of my thing is like if we did decide to move up there, like I don't want to be in the city of Atlanta, like I'm not all for like big city life, but I would definitely love to be at least like Panama City or Pensacola away from Crestview type, close to it, where I can get to it if I need to. If there's
that's where all the cool shows are.
Yeah, like if Meshuggah comes, it's like, oh, I can go see Meshuggah.
Yeah, it's like
I don't have to drive 5 hours.
I know all that stuff, and just having access to more like studio spaces or like, say, let me ask you this: how many times as a band from this area have you needed to shoot a music video or something like that, get promos done? It's like, where the fuck can I go and do that? There's just no. I will say, I don't want to say there's no, because there's people who are trying to make this happen now, but there are few resources in Pensacola historically to do things like that versus like a larger city. You have way more access to amenities to do whatever the fuck you want.
It's even worse over on our side,
sure.
and that's why I told you about that venue we did the music video in, because I was like, oh, these guys are always looking to do a music video, and if they don't have to go somewhere, they can have, so.
What do you mean by, just by like the venue that you go to, like where you're filming at, or
so like traditionally, like say you're gonna do a music video, the director you're gonna work with is gonna like send a treatment, right, which is like a synopsis of like what the video could be, and they'll also maybe sometimes send locations through like a website like peerspace.com or something like that. And if you go on a website like Peerspace, there are no like locations here really in Pensacola.
No, I think
versus like Atlanta, there are multiple, like, because it's such a hub for film and art and industry. There are so many locations you can rent by the hour, or rooms that have already have lighting and have stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like studio space.
Exactly.
Yeah, where it's just a white wall or something like that you can build whatever you want.
To like which you can get awesome results by having to be creative and create something, but there's just more out there.
Yeah. I think for our damaged video, we did it in a dance studio.
Yeah.
And we just did 3 different lighting options, and then have you seen the video by chance?
Yeah,
the damaged video. You know, the like with all the shit in the background and like it looks kind of dingy. There's like a light fixture hanging and a pipe thing. And
I think so. Yeah, I watched.
It's in like clips. That's in the attic of Downtown Music Hall.
Sick.
You know what I mean? Like we just had to figure something
Get
out.
crafty.
Yeah, I was like,
which is really
you can
cool
even
too.
see the bungee cord hanging with the light fixture that I hung up there. I was like, oh, this will look cool in the background. But yeah, but
I guess I'm
I feel you on
spoiled,
that.
dude. Because we had so many. Now that I think of it, we had so many different like studios you could go to, like places you could rent out. Fuck, dude. We had the mills.
That's always been sort of the bane of Pensacola's music scene. Is there weren't any like resources like that. So like you reach a certain level as a band, and it's like, okay, well now I either have to leave my city, or meet somebody who can like, invest in us for us to go shoot a music video somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like every music video that Vagrants has on YouTube, we've had to go to either Atlanta or go to Nashville or go to South Florida to film all of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We filmed one video when we like first came out that's not up anymore that we did here, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not resources.
Yeah.
Damn, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
I worked we made music videos up in New Hampshire. We had like a whole mill that you could rent out the room if you wanted to. It was our room, but we would rent it out if we wanted. But we could just build sets in there and stuff. And
Yeah, that's badass.
yeah, it was really cool. We did Ice Night Kills. We shot It Is the End, but we rented out like a whole amusement park for that. So that was pretty cool. But
That's dope.
yeah, that's why I was a little confused, and I guess I'm so used to it, and I grew up around it, and just being around studios, I didn't realize how important that was. You know what I mean? Like,
Because then you're like forced to like, well, I think
You have to do
my friend
outdoors.
has like a cool house or something we can like,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you have to travel to another city to go do it, and then you're spending hundreds of dollars in travel.
I only had 2 real options, I only had 2 real options when we were doing the damage video. And, it was that studio. Oh, no, sorry, Inertia. We had that one too, which was downtown in Crestview. And then we wanted to use their upstairs stuff that was all condemned and like broken and stuff like that. And we were like, hey, can we not use your actual facility, but just and they're like, yeah, it's still $150 an hour. And I was like, to use your place that you're not using, like, how about $50 an hour? And like, you're not getting any money out of it anyways. You're not using it for anything. But they're like, nope, $150 an hour. I was like, all right. And then there was a plantation style home out in Sandestin. But like, in order to do that, I had to get like permits, and like I had to pay for the permit.
Yeah.
You could they couldn't keep people out of the shots. Like if people wanted to come to it because it's like a national park or something like that. Have you ever been out there and seen that?
No.
It's
Anytime the word plantation is said,
it just gives you.
Oh my God.
away from that.
It's a nice area. We took our wedding pictures up there, me and my wife, and it's just a nice home out there. That's now. Why'd you have to bring it there, Jose?
Oh my God.
Anyways, if you made it this far, you should, and you have the means, you should open up a film place.
That's actually kind of my dream, dude.
He's had
here
that
we go.
idea.
Yeah, I've had that idea for a long time. I worked at
We have an idea that we
Prestige worldwide.
Hoes and hoes, baby.
Well, no, my whole dream is because I was working at the studio. It was Misdirected Studios, which is up in New Hampshire. And after I quit my band, I started working there because they were like, dude, you got the grind, you know all these people, you know a ton of bands, like come in and help us reach out to people and get people through the door. So, and as soon as I started working there, we got a contract with Ice Nine and Fearless and all that to shoot their video. So it was like, holy shit, already, you know, and I had nothing to do with that. I was just walking in the door, but they thought like, you're part of it. So like, so it's cool to be a part of. I shot all their BTS stuff for that video, which they never ended up using. But we had the studio, we were building an audio studio to do audio, to recording and all that. And then we even had a practice space for bands. Oh. We had a little stage so they could perform, and we would critique them like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. Like, that was we just wanted to be a one-stop shop. We were thinking about
your left leg 2 feet.
Yeah, just not choreographing so much, but just being like, you can move around a little bit more. Yeah, I know, Yeah, but that was my dream, is to like work with bands, and not to say that I know all those things, but I wanted to hire the right people to be there and shoot the music videos and do all that stuff and just be around creative people all the time.
It's a great environment.
And when I moved here, I'm like, oh, that would still be cool to do down here. Obviously in Boston, you'd have clients like crazy because you're in the city. But so I guess that's what maybe is that offset, is like, maybe that's why nobody's doing it, is because it's not as big as it would be if you moved to Atlanta and did it. You know what I mean? So, but it's still my dream.
We've got an idea to possibly get something like that started.
Oh, absolutely.
Downtown Music Hall, the owner purchased a new club that he's going to try and get open at the beginning of 1,000 cap. 1,000 cap. Yeah, you know where Vibe Nightclub used to be? Or the Block? No.
It's out there.
I was going to say, you probably don't know.
Well, you've been to downtown.
Yeah.
It's literally like I could almost throw a baseball and hit the damn building from downtown. So it's 1,000 cap, and then he bought the thrift store that's right next to it, and he's going to cut that and try and make that a 2,000 cap if he can.
Wow.
So he's got big plans, but if we can get in there and get the right space, I've talked to him about possibly me and him doing that. And I'm like, hey, we could try and bring you money while the venue is just sitting there and not making any money.
Sure.
Yeah, just let it be a creative space.
Yeah, and then we can, on days that we don't have shows, we can try and bring people in to film music videos or take photos. We could have photographers come in and do stuff like that. So we're trying to look into something like that. My wife also told me to get my commercial real estate license so that I could do that when I retire.
Sick.
So I don't know. We'll see what's up. But I like his idea, and I think it would be cool.
We definitely need something in Pensacola that fits that. There's a couple places that popped up, like Hellcat Hangar, which is over on the west side of town, and I think Jeff Peck has a place that he's working out of too, doing like photo stuff or whatever. But
is it a big like warehouse thing or whatever?
I think it's like a legit like film place. I actually haven't been yet, but I'll be there in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
see what's up.
Nice. Yeah, I would love to do something like that, dude. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah. You heard it here first.
That's right.
What's the? We'll go out on this. What's the one piece of advice to new up and coming bands that you would give them? What do you think the most important thing is that they need to know that maybe they're not thinking about? That you've learned over your time.
I would echo what I said earlier and just make what makes you stoked as far as the music, the visuals, etc. Like, don't try to chase something, whatever's hot at the moment. It's okay to be influenced by stuff, but you should find your own lane, and that's where you're going to succeed.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, don't emulate people.
Yeah, because you never want to
definitely be inspired.
Like I've always said, you never want to be Velamaya Light.
You're gonna be you end up Chick Soda version of Metallica.
Well, you end up being like all those hair metal bands back in the. You end up being the Winger, the this or the that,
or all the 2000s metalcore bands that are all just derivative of.
Yeah, grunge. Grunge was the same way.
It happens in every.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have your way.
You have your outlier bands who stick out because they are doing their own thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's okay to be weird. It's okay to you know, be different. And it might put some people off, but it's also you're going to find your own niche that way.
Yeah.
And that's what I stand by that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, man.
Sweet. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I was so excited to sit down and talk with you. And
likewise.
I mean, I look forward to more conversations with you. I'm sure I could learn a lot.
I've ever done, so.
Well,
sick, dude. Hell yeah.
When you get back off the road next time around, we'll check in with you.
Do
Maybe
part 2 or something.
Yeah, I'd love to hear how it's going, and then definitely next year after you get back and you come back from that geeked up tour you're going on. I definitely want to catch up with you. And
that'd be a good time to do it.
Oh yeah. And hear all that.
We'll have seen some shit at that point.
Yeah, right.
Just grinning ear to ear, dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Will that be your first time going to Europe ever?
Yeah,
if you do?
I've never been outside. I've been to Canada, and I've been to Mexico as a kid.
Okay.
But I've never been outside of the country.
Oh wow,
dude, I'm so excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's so awesome over there, man. It's such an eye-opening experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was about to start into another conversation, but we're like probably
all right. We're good.
Save it.
Thank you so much for watching the show.
Later, guys.
Thanks, everybody.